Hi, this is George Sefton, and you're listening to the official ARW.
And that's it. Phil Coutinho is gone. It's been coming for a long time. It's the moment that all Liverpool fans have been dreading and had one eye on probably since the summer. Randy, what's your initial thoughts, mate?
Well, as I take a sip of this kiwi martini, guys, I am on my honeymoon in Punta Cana. So, I mean, obviously my day couldn't really get that bad, but Coutinho is my favorite player on the squad. And, I mean, it's kind of, I put on the Liverpool Philadelphia Twitter account, I said, I just said, looks like it's a done deal, 142 pounds. And I just said, thanks for the memories, but don't let the door hit you on the way out. Deuces. Yep. So, I mean,
I tweeted something a little meaner. I think I tweeted Phil Coutinho's gone full cycle. He's gone from Inter Milan's bench to Barcelona's bench. Thanks for the memories. Off you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, he was there. So, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, we can get into it more. I'm not trying to analyze Barca's squad, but is Coutinho better than maybe not better, but are they going to knock Iniesta out and put Coutinho in?
The thing with Barcelona and Real Madrid are the same, and PSG are certainly going that way, is they just need to sign a name. And Coutinho was the name on the lips, and he's not. I don't think Phil Coutinho is the answers to the problems for their squad. Although, to be perfectly honest, if they never win another game, being quite bitter about it, I wouldn't be disappointed. But, my biggest thing now is what happens afterwards. So Phil Coutinho's going. We've known he's been going since the summer. There was a lot of Reds that hoped we could hold on to him in January. I'm personally glad that we've got it done so early in January because it gives us time to reinvest. But FSG, this is going to be a big 3 weeks for FSG. Make no mistake.
Well, exactly. I mean, we've seen it before. We sell Suarez, and then we do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and Sterling. We didn't really invest the Sterling money.
No, exactly. And I mean, it kind of got softened, but at least with Sterling at the beginning. He didn't really take off at City, and we were like, "Oh, fuck off!" Like you guys got ripped off, and now it looks like a steal. So I'm right with you. I believe they need to do something. I don't know. You guys kind of in the know a little bit more than me, but I see Mar keep popping up now. Mahrez from
Thomas
City.
So Thomas Lamar is in. Well, Thomas Lamar is the one that I keep seeing named over and over again. Riyad Mahrez was one that appeared to come from nowhere, and there's been a few sources today shoot that down and say Liverpool are not interested in Mahrez. My conversation with Jono off air was that I think we were probably doing what we did with the Mo Salah deal, which is that we're trying to get Lamar. The deal isn't going exactly the way we want it, so we leaked to the press that we're looking at alternatives to try and force the deal through. I think that's probably what's happening. The fact that we've come out and said, no, actually, we don't want him, does that mean the Lamar deal is closer than people think? I don't know. But look,
now, where does Lamar, say he's on the squad tomorrow, where does he fit in?
He can play a variety of positions. I'm not gonna confess to be the biggest fan of League One.
I really don't.
But from what I've seen of him, he plays better for France than he does for Monaco, and I think that's because they tend to use him in one of two positions. They either push him out wide or they allow him to play in that central sort of. Yeah.
Just and I think Monaco's system can make even not an average player, but it can make a good player look like a really great player. Yeah,
it's very true. So
go for it.
The fact that he's standing out for France is good for me because there are a number of big players who play for France who never seem to perform for their country, and he's not one of them. He always seems to put in the shift and performance. So I think he'd be good. I'd also be happy with Mahrez. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mahrez for what we're missing. I've seen many of Mahrez when that title run. I mean, he steps up to a free kick and then puts that left-footed bender. That's where when we start analyzing more and more on future pods on how we replace Coutinho, and not only on the field but just within the club, somebody that's been there for a while. And I kind of mentioned Firmino earlier, where it stands with him. But what I was getting at was that who steps. I mean, is it going to be Virgil that takes the free kicks now, or what's going to be going on when Phil was out? Moreno was stepping up.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So
I think it's difficult, isn't it? And I think that we'll do another pod on how Liverpool move on tactically without Phil Coutinho.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not as. I mean, look, I'm disappointed that we're selling our best players again. But I'm not as upset as I was when we lost Suarez or
Yes,
Torres.
Exactly. I was just gonna say this doesn't feel like Torres or Suarez.
That genuinely felt like the end of the world. That felt like we are going to have to rebuild completely again because our whole team is built around this person. Whereas I don't think that's the case with Phil Coutinho. Look, Phil Coutinho is a magic player. He can change a game single-handedly, but he's not Mr. Liverpool, nor is he the person that we built our squad around.
Sometimes he goes. He's not even there in certain, and it's it's usually when like against Mourinho's side when there's 10 behind the ball and they just have to try to then there could be a moment of brilliance and yes he'll put it in the back of the net, but there are it's not as to the point of Suarez and Torres. I just think those were different, but I feel like was to the point earlier the Suarez and even Torres, but not as much. This thing, he just took off. He took everything by storm. Even after that, with Barca, and he's still doing it. And that's for me. That's something that's still. I mean, when you see it, and it's just like, oh man, like that's somebody we used to have.
He should be here.
It's just like I want Liverpool to be the place that Coutinho type player wants to come rather than go to Barca. So
my biggest fear right now is Liverpool fans. So Jonathan and I were having a conversation earlier about how we're actually trying to avoid Liverpool Twitter at the moment. Liverpool Twitter almost just needs a small excuse to start ripping into each other, which is something I don't particularly like about our fan base on Twitter. But FSG...
I'm glad my Twitter's not really loading right now. I mean, it loads every once in a while. But
so the actions of FSG over the coming 2 to 3 weeks are going to determine how Liverpool fans respond with each other as well. So, if we, hypothetically speaking, January is always a hard time to buy a player. It is. So we're not going to go and buy 2 or 3 players now. That's highly unlikely to happen. We've already got Van Dijk. We've smashed our own transfer record and we've done a fantastic job. If we're getting the kind of money that is being mooted for Phil Coutinho, there's talk around that sort of 120 up front, and then it could be sort of up to a 140, 145 million deal. If that's the case, go and smash 90 million on Lamar if that's what they're asking for and bring him straight in, because I think that's a massive statement from FFG. And me personally, this is my opinion, and I said I'm not a huge fan of them. If they did that, I would have the utmost respect and have nothing I could complain about. I could have nothing to complain about if you go and do that. However, if you use the age-old excuse of, January is a hard time to buy players, we'll come back in the summer, that's just not going to wash, because if that's the case, then why did you sell our best player in January?
I totally agree.
So FSG really need to watch out on this, I think, because this could make or break them. I think they have the power to calm fans down or fuel a fight that's already bubbling under the surface, which is that there are a lot of fans becoming disgruntled with them, many more so than me. I just don't like them. I don't like some of their decisions, but there are actually people who passionately hate FSG. Now,
for sure.
Look, it's not the same scenario as Hicks and Gillette, and I'm not even going to pretend that it is, but they do need to be careful and look at the way that Liverpool fans respond when we don't believe our ownership is taking this in the right direction.
I'm learning more and more about it, and it makes me more and more passionate about it. But the Liverpool fan base is very unique and very knowledgeable, and they know, and it's when they see bullshit, they know it smells. So it's just I'm in agreement. Say FSG. And that was what I was going to ask you. Now, in these situations, does Peter Moore, Jurgen Klopp, and whoever else, do they come sit out in a press conference and field questions? Or what will happen when it gets officially announced? Is it just a social media, Twitter post? Or how does it work?
I think it's more likely to be... I don't think there'll be an official press conference. I think it's more likely to be that we'll release a statement.
Yeah.
We'll probably...
because in America, if this was, American football or, somebody of this caliber player of any of the 4 American sports, they would have to come out and answer, questions and, not that they're going to give any information through that. It's always the kind of answers that you get in those situations. Yeah. But, so, I just wondered
I'd be surprised. I think what's more likely to happen is they'll release a news and statement on social media and on the official website, And then what they'll also do is release a video and or open letter from Phil Coutinho thanking the fans for the support, wishing his teammates the best. I think that's going to be the end of it. And then Klopp isn't going to want to talk about it. I think he's going to, if he will answer questions, they'll be very short. Given the way he's behaved, I see Jurgen Klopp answering the questions in his next press conference more along the lines of, I want to talk about the players that are here and available for selection. We wish him the best of luck.
And I'm fine with that because, I mean, Jurgen, he's a player's coach, and he's gonna be with the players that want to be with him. And obviously, Phil, wanted to go to Barca. So I mean, it's just unfortunate. And
I would rather, given the way that they typically handle stuff, I would rather Liverpool start leaking the news that we're about to sign Thomas Lemar over the coming week to 10 days and then smash the announcement out and get everybody all excited about that. Have us focused on something positive rather than something negative. And I think that's something that they probably will do, because the one thing you can't criticize FSG for is their use of PR. Fans have started to see through it a lot now. When they made the announcement the other day about freezing of ticket prices, everybody knew instantly that well, not everybody, but a lot of people instantly knew that meant Phil Coutinho was going. These two things this was not coincidental that they leaked it at the time they did. It was a good news story out because they were about to give us a bad news story. It's basic management, isn't it? It's a shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly. Yeah, and that's. But
so
yeah,
I'm sure they would have loved that to have been an announcement of a player. But maybe in this shit sandwich, it's we froze ticket prices. Phil Coutinho's gone. Here's this new guy, and I think that's probably the best we can hope for in January. But let's not be around the bush here. They're talking about 90 million for Thomas Lemar, 75 million we paid for Virgil van Dijk, and it took us 2 transfer windows to get the deal right. We're expecting FSG to somehow now be able to muster up a 90 million pound deal in the space of 2 weeks. This is a big ask. And Monaco, it's not like they're a poor club. They don't have to sell.
No, not at all. I mean, they're on the other side of that. So, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I just don't, and then it's this lack of, I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I don't really know. My question was, where's he fit in? And just with the names that I've heard, it just would be Mahrez to kind of replace a Coutinho in a sense. But
I think he's either going to take Lallana's position in midfield and Lallana will play higher up the field, or vice versa, and they'll interchange. But that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, it's definitely somebody like Lallana is going to be needed to
unlock. I think when people sit back, Lallana and that kind of ilk of player are going to be really heavily needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I mean, our squad are in a much better position than they were. Van Dijk has joined us and had a fantastic debut yesterday, scoring on his debut in front of the Kop against Everton in the FA Cup. I mean, you couldn't have written a better story.
I say a lot of times to the Philadelphia Reds that, I see it at all our matches. I say, doesn't Liverpool fit in as like a 5th Philadelphia team? Because literally things like this happen. We had the best night last night and the best possible result. Everything, debut goal, match winner in front of the Kop, everything. And then the next day, the news of this. So it's just like, it's kind of a kick in the nuts, but, keep going on.
To not keep back down again. Look, I think I might get some stick on Twitter for saying this, but I don't really care. I'm usually controversial anyway.
I mean, that happens anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. So look, Phil Coutinho clearly didn't buy into Jurgen Klopp's vision. And I say clearly because he signed a long-term contract, which is another thing that pisses me off, because what is the point of a long-term contract if we're not going to hold our players to it?
Yeah. I mean, and that happens. It appears to simply sports all the time.
Well, it just appears to simply
contract after 2 years and then they're trying to re-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this is it. So it appears to be this contract is nothing to do with stability or keeping the player at the club. This contract is about retaining the value of a player's deal when you sell them, which is not something I think most fans would want to accept. But what I was saying about Phil was, if he hasn't bought into Jurgen Klopp's vision, which he clearly hasn't because he wants to go, he's desperate to go to Barcelona, and there's a whole story behind that as well. But there's a lot of players at Liverpool that are just delighted to be at Liverpool. Look at Van Dijk and his attitude towards coming in. He gets it. He's excited. He's passionate. He's behind it. He can see where we're going. If Phil can't see it, then go. Because we've all had that negative friend that sucks the life out of you no matter what kind of mood you're in. Phil's got to have been a little bit like that at the minute. No matter how professional he is, his head is somewhere else. He doesn't want to be there. Same with Emre Can. So if that's the case, just piss off. Just go. If you don't want to be here, go. I mean, we're not going to beg you to play for Liverpool.
And that's essentially what I said. I mean, he was one of my favorites. I love watching him, but I just said thanks for the memories, but don't let the door kick you on the way out. And then elaborate on that is that you don't want to be here. So see
so
it.
Go.
Like
yeah. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. But, so listen, I mean, look, we'll look at we'll wrap it up, but we'll look at the positives of this. As we said, Van Dijk has just signed for 75 million. We've just smashed our record. We've just got an absolute shit ton of money back in the kitty.
And
for
some people on Twitter last night were making me laugh because they were like, I think we need to give Southampton another 10 million. You just already, people are just saying he already repaid us. So I mean, that was just
that's a fantastic signing. That's a fantastic signing. I think the next few weeks are going to be really interesting, as I've said. I'd really like to see somebody like Mahrez or Thomas Lemar come into the club. I don't expect more than one signing, in my opinion, in this window. I think it's too short and it's too difficult to get done. But if FSG have sold Phil Coutinho without a backup option ready to come in January, that was a very, very foolish move.
Yeah,
their head is already on the block.
Exactly. I can't. I'm just going to go on the record to say I can't for 1 second believe that they don't have some type. Jurgen Klopp isn't, an idiot, and he's this has been it seems like the Coutinho saga has been going on almost as long as the Van Dijk saga. So they had to have, but it'll be interesting, and you guys will have to keep up to date with us. We try to, give you all the updated information of everything. I think Phil's checking now, but I don't think it's completely official. But everybody that all the guys and all the main beat writers, as we say over here, are close to it, and they're saying it's done. So
all the guys that are very close to the club are being briefed that the news is likely to break this evening or first thing tomorrow. So it's as good as done. I don't think that this is going to be. I don't think anyone's going to be replaying this interview going, do you remember that time ARW released the show and then we didn't sell him? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, look, he's gone. He's a Barcelona player. Best of luck to you, Phil Coutinho. Thank you for everything you did for us. Off you go. Over to you, Jurgen, and to FSG to bring in more players that buy into the Liverpool mentality, into Klopp's vision. I'm still excited about the future. The future. The names are being linked with are not the days of Ricky Lambert and these kind of guys. We're being linked with Mahrez and Thomas Lemar. Virgil van Dijk has just joined us. Naby Keita is joining us in the summer. This is still a very exciting period for Liverpool, and let's not forget that. So, fuck Phil Coutinho and up the Reds.